All right, guys, we have learned that Shannon Sharpe has just paid tens of millions of dollars for this.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you, Hunt, for the tip. Okay, guys, I can't take the panties off and do it until we get to our next tip goal. Our next tip goal. Take panties off. I can't take it and take panties off until we get to our next tip goal, and then I'll take my panties off. But right now, I'm gonna rub the lotion. And then maybe you can wait, Hunt? Okay. Once we get to our $1,500 tip goal, I'll shake my without the panties on.
Of course, as we all know, this is the beautiful, wonderful Gabi Zuniga. This was Shannon Sharpe's girlfriend for 2 years. She's talking about how she will remove certain articles of clothing for $1,500 a piece. You got to reach these tip goals so that she will show more of her skin to you. Now, this is on her OnlyFans account, where she is talking to hundreds, if not thousands of men trying to collect this $1,500. But she has just reached a settlement with Shannon Sharpe that is worth tens of millions of dollars. Let me ask you, look at her now. She's beautiful, correct? Would you pay her tens of millions? Does she deserve it? As a quick recap, you'll remember that Shannon met this girl, Gabi, at the gym. She was 19 years old at the time, and Shannon was like 56. She ended up filing a lawsuit in the beginning of this year against Shannon for $50 million. What was she claiming? She was alleging that when Shannon was at her gym, he was harassing her for her phone number. So this NFL Hall of Fame player is harassing her for her digits, but she gave it to him. Then this girl, Gabi, says, oh, well, Shannon Sharpe was harassing me for him to go over to his house. He wanted me to go over there. And then, of course, she went. And not only did she go the first time, but she kept going back. She kept going back. Now, what did she say? She says during this time when she was going over to Shannon's house, Shannon was abusing her. This is what she put in her complaint, all of these allegations of abuse. But she would claim that all this abuse was occurring, and then she would send Shannon Sharpe text like this. You can see Gabi here sends Shannon a text saying, hey, I want to be abused, daddy. So she's asking for the same abuse that she's alleging that Shannon Sharpe did to her. She was complaining in her lawsuit that Shannon Sharpe was a monster, that Shannon would tie her up. But then what would this same girl tell Shannon in text messages? She wants to sue Shannon for $50 million for tying her up. And then she sends Shannon a text saying, I want you to tie me up like this and abuse me, daddy. This girl Gabi was complaining that Shannon would record her having intimate relations with him. But then in her own lawsuit, she admits to having sex with Shannon on FaceTime in front of Shannon's childhood friends like Bucket. Imagine the audacity of her suing Shannon for $50 million for recording them having sex together when both of them know that he's on FaceTime with his friends Bucket saying, hey, look at her, Bucket. I got a good one, don't I? This girl is absolutely ridiculous. But guess what? This girl is laughing at Shannon all the way to the bank. She didn't need to study, didn't need to go to college, didn't need to sacrifice, and now she has generational wealth. More money than probably you and I will ever see in our lifetimes. So let me ask you, was this the whole plan from the beginning? Was it extortion? Well, she certainly got paid. Just look at what she wrote. Here is what Gabi wrote regarding the settlement. She says, today I have decided to retire from OnlyFans. Thank you for the incredible support you've shown me over the past few years. This community has given me a life I could have never imagined. Yeah, Shannon Sharpe gave you a life you would never imagined. But let's keep going. I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works that I can't wait to share. I'm truly excited for this next chapter. I love you all forever and ever. Oh man, this is so sad. Shannon Sharpe is out here retiring OnlyFans models. And here is Gabi's attorney, Big Tony Buzbee, confirming the settlement of the lawsuit. What does Tony say? He says on April 20th of 2025, the Buzbee law firm filed a complaint in Nevada, making several allegations against the one and only Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe on behalf of our client Gabi. Both sides acknowledge a long-term consensual and tumultuous relationship. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I am pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. And dismissed with prejudice just means that Gabi is not allowed to refile this ever again. She can make no further claim. By Shannon Sharpe paying her all of this money, her lips are permanently sealed. Now, the question is, how much money did Shannon Sharpe pay Gabi Zuniga? Well, I'm going to tell you my best professional educated guess on that amount. But first, we need to ask, why did he settle it all? When Gabi first filed this $50 million complaint, so many people took to social media to say, hey, Shannon Sharpe should not settle, shouldn't offer this girl a dime. They said by settling the case, he would be acknowledging that he's guilty of these allegations. They said that his reputation was worth fighting for and he should go to the ends of the earth to contest this case. Now, I've made a few videos on this topic and I have said in each and every one of those videos that this case will be settled. It will never see the first day of trial. I have practiced over 20 years and negotiated countless times and I know the whole playbook. This case was never about Shannon Sharpe's guilt or innocence. Remember, this Gabi, she never went to the police. She never filed any type of police report. She never tried to get Shannon arrested for any of this alleged abuse that she's complaining about in this $50 million lawsuit. This entire situation was only about one thing. It was about the dollar. Now you may say, well, Lead, if this case was about money, why did Shannon offer to pay this girl millions of dollars? Shouldn't he have fought this case to protect his reputation? The answer is no. When Shannon's attorney let it slip that Shannon had offered this girl Gabi over $10 million, he didn't offer to settle this case in any type of guilt or innocence framework. If I'm going to be honest, in a very real way, Shannon settled this case for you. You say, for me? Well, what do you mean by that, Lead? Listen, the only reason Shannon makes any money at all is because of you and how you feel about him, how you judge him, what light you see him in. The only reason that Shannon makes any money is because you exist and you have money, and so companies want to get in front of you. These companies feel like you hold Shannon Sharpe in a certain esteem and you watch Shannon Sharpe, so they want to use Shannon Sharpe to get in front of you. When Shannon Sharpe teamed up with Cat Williams on that famous episode of his podcast, a lot of people were trying to figure out how much money did he make. Well, Shannon was being coy about the situation, saying, hey, I made however much you think I made. But Gabi let it slip that Shannon said to her, this is her allegation, that he made $6 million on that one episode alone. Now, how did he make that $6 million? It's because companies paid YouTube to have their ads on that episode, and then YouTube split the money that they got from the companies with Shannon. So Shannon got a lot of money by chopping up this ad revenue from companies that sent the money to YouTube. YouTube says, Shannon, we got all of this money. We are going to keep 45%. We're going to give you 55%. And again, that's money that YouTube received from companies to get in front of Shannon Sharpe's audience. Who is Shannon Sharpe's audience? It's you. Now, in addition to that, Shannon may have had some sponsorships, some brand deals from who? From companies who wanted to get in front of who? They wanted to get in front of you. So it's so important for Shannon that you see him in a good light, because if you don't, then companies will not want to pay him to get in front of you. You're not going to watch him if you don't like him. Take Joe Rogan for a second. A lot of people people like Joe Rogan. And Spotify gave Joe $100 million to get in front of Joe Rogan's audience. Then when that first contract for $100 million ended, Spotify gave Joe an additional $250 million. That's $350 million that Joe Rogan received just so that Spotify can get in front of his audience. Now, Shannon Sharpe is looking at that and saying, well, wait a minute. Joe had the biggest podcast episode of all time on YouTube, but I did an episode and it surpassed Joe. Now I have the biggest episode. So me and Joe, really, we're kind of doing the same thing. We're kind of neck and neck. If Joe can get $100 million, why can't I? Honestly, if Joe can get $250 million, why can I not get the same money? So Shannon is looking at this and saying, hey, the most important thing for me is to stay marketable so that these companies want to get in front of you. If you like me, then these companies will want to pay me to get in front of you. So Shannon wanted to sell this case because he didn't want you to look at him all crazy. Well, why would you look at him all crazy? Shannon Sharpe thought that maybe some of his audience would be offended that Shannon liked to engage in all this race play in his relationships. Shannon likes to have all these white women say, hey, I want you to put a big black baby in me. We all know Shannon's from the deep South and he's older. He's from the generation where a lot of black people didn't have a lot of money and they were using the bathrooms in outhouses. Shannon didn't have indoor plumbing until he was in high school or college. Apparently, Shannon's upbringing in those times have influenced how he is today, and he likes to engage in race play, have these racial themes throughout his relationships. Maybe some of Shannon's audience would look at him like, man, I can't rock with that. They may say, you're a sick man. If people are offended and they stop watching him, then his audience shrinks. And if your audience shrinks, now companies are not going to want to pay you the same. Maybe Shannon thought that some of his audience would be turned off or offended by all of this domination that Shannon would introduce into his relationships. It's well known that this 2-year relationship with Shannon and Gabi was rocky. It was tumultuous. And Gabi had alleged that they got into an argument once and Shannon said, you disrespected me. Now I have to punish this butthole. Shannon Sharpe doesn't want you to know that. Shannon may think that some of his audience, some of the women, might be turned off by anal destruction. Why on earth would Spotify pay Shannon Sharpe $250 million if Spotify is going to start getting emails from all these women saying, hey, why are you supporting Shannon Sharpe? We all know how fickle and sensitive these companies can be. They will drop you in a heartbeat. Shannon does not want to give any of these sponsors any ammunition, any reason to withdraw their support. Hold up, let's take a pause from this $50 million craziness for a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If you or someone you love is on Medicare, this is important. The Department of Justice just revealed a huge fraud case against top Medicare brokers, accusing them of steering seniors to plans paying the highest kickbacks and not the best plans for them. I've seen firsthand how confusing and frustrating Medicare can be. When I faced my own cancer diagnosis, even with my decades of legal experience, navigating healthcare felt impossible. That's why I'm partnering with Chapter Medicare. Chapter searches through every available Medicare plan to find the one truly tailored to your doctors, your prescription, and your budget. Completely unbiased and free. On average, seniors who've worked with Chapter saved over $1,100 a year. So if you want straightforward, unbiased help, call Chapter right now at 572-243-0163 or visit askchapter.org/lead. It's quick, it's free, and it could save you hundreds. The number is right here on the screen, 572-243-0163. Give yourself peace of mind today. Now, back to this Club Shay Shay dumpster fire. Now, me personally, I don't care what you do in the bedroom as long as it's consensual and everybody's having fun. But these companies are not like that. They cannot take a lot of heat. They cannot take pressure from the community, from their audience, telling them to cancel somebody. And here in this case, you've got a black man who's almost 60 putting apparently dog collars on 19-year-old white girls talking about, I'm going to choke you out and I'm going to destroy your rectum. There's no way that Spotify wants to pay $250 million for that. It's obvious that Shannon Sharpe had to settle this case, not for any type of guilt or innocence framework, but he had to settle it for you so that you don't look differently upon him. If he can keep everything that Gabi knows a secret, then you see him as Big Unc. You see him as Shay Shay. You see him as schooling Ocho Cinco. Ocho's writing down all of Shannon's wise words.
And people wonder why they don't get the blessings that someone else. Ask yourself. See, you think you're doing everything right, but see, God know your heart. See, you can fool everybody else, but you can't fool that man upstairs, and you wonder why. Ask yourself. Ask yourself when you're alone and you by yourself.
You will continue to look up at Shannon Sharpe as a wise aunt and not some old dummy who's paying women tens of millions of dollars to put dog collars on them. Just mathematically, just by the numbers, it makes sense. It's really an investment. Shannon says, I will pay $10 million on the front end to get $100 million on the back. Pay $15, $20 million on the front end to get $250 million on the back end. That's exactly what Shannon should do. I myself will pay any woman $10 million if I can turn around in the same instance and get $100 million right back. I pay her $15 million to silence her forever and then get a check for $200 million. I would do that all day long. That's what countless celebrities have done in the past. That's what Shannon has done right now. And that's what celebrities and these athletes and people with money, that's what they're going to continue to do in the future. All of the people saying that Shannon shouldn't settle, shouldn't pay this girl a dime, they don't know how the game is played. I can tell you as a 20-year attorney that this is exactly how you do it. Now, let's ask ourselves, how much money did this girl Gabi receive? If we look again at Tony's announcement of the settlement, of course, there are no numbers that are shown. Almost always in these settlements, the terms of the agreement are confidential. You remember when Puffy settled with Cassie. No one knew how much Cassie received until Cassie had to testify on the stand and disclose that she actually got $30 million. So the question is, how much did Gabi receive? Well, I will tell you that in my personal educated opinion, I believe that Gabi got $33 million. Now you say, well, Lead, how did you come up with that number? Well, let me tell you, we have to remember that Gabi hired an attorney. She hired Big Tony. I promise you that Tony does not work for free. We lawyers, we attorneys, we charge on cases like this on a contingency basis. That means that we only make money if you win the case, but we are going to take a percentage. Now, how much is the percentage? Usually it's 30% if we can get the case resolved, if we can get it settled before we have to file a lawsuit. But if we have to file a lawsuit, then our percentage bumps up to 40. Now, there are no hard and fast rules. This is just in general what attorneys charge. So we know that Tony filed the lawsuit. So let's say that he's going to get 40%. If Gabi's total compensation is $33 million, then Tony's 40% is $13.3 million. How much does that leave Gabi? It leaves her with $20 million. That's right, the girl that you see on the screen has gotten a wire transfer for $20 million, in my opinion. Ask yourself, is she worth it? I will stop for a second to point out that it's commonplace nowadays on social media to have this kind of gender war, this men against women. A lot of men are asking women, well, hey, what are you actually bringing to the table? A lot of men think women's standards are too high. These women say, I am the table. Don't take me out to the Cheesecake Factory. Take me to fine dining. Take me on trips first class. Buy me these $50,000 Birkin bags. The men are saying, well, why would I do that? You're not worth it. And the women say, yes, I am. And they point to this. These women say, you're crazy if you think that I'm not on par with Gabi. I'm a 10. If Gabi got $20 million, why can't I? These women women look around and see these cases where men are paying so much money to, let's be honest, kind of average looking women. They say, well, why would I expect less if people like Gabi can get tens of millions of dollars? You can't take me to fine dining? If she's worth 20 million, I at least have to be worth 15 million, right? And if we're honest, it is a fact that this girl got millions and millions of dollars. So who's right in this situation? Let me ask you, how much would you pay Gabi? We saw that she was charging $25,000 per cheek. Is it worth it? These are really interesting times we are living in. Now, let's do this as final question. I think that Gabi asked for $33 million so she could break Tony off 13 and keep 20. We know that Cassie got 30 million. The question is, how do you view Cassie getting 30 million while Gabi gets 20? Whose situation do you think is better? We know that Cassie had to endure 10 years of abuse, if we can be honest, from Puffy, but she got 30. Gabi, let's say, only gets 20, but she only had to date Shannon for 2 years. So Gabi gets $20 million, but she saves 8 years of her youth. We know for Cassie to get the 30, she was getting beat on. We saw the hotel video. We saw the video where she was hiding up under that blanket with Puffy stomping on her. She got to 30, but then Gabi over here, she's getting choked out. She has this dog collar on her. There's some rectal obliteration going on, but she gets the 20. Who do you think of the two women came out better? Cassie had to have sexual relations with all of these different men. Shannon Sharpe was recording himself and Gabi having sex in front of his childhood friends, in front of Bucket. Shannon had Bucket right on the FaceTime. Oh, look at her, Bucket, look at her. That's what this girl had to endure, having sex with damn near 60-year-old Shannon Sharpe in front of Bucket. Who do you think came out better? She's getting the 20 million, in my opinion, while Cassie gets the 30. Put in the comments who you think got the better end of the deal between Cassie and Gabi, and I will tell you as the lead attorney that the winner in all of this is Tony Buzbee.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!